This is all that we need to do in moving from the feeling of this world to the feeling of the spiritual world. That's considered faith above reason, perceiving reality in the spiritual world. This is why we are in a very special perception of reality, outside of spirituality, which is called an egoistic perception, where I attribute everything to myself. This is the force of separation, rejection, and hatred, a force that separates me from the Creator. And in order to study Him, understand Him, I need to be outside of Him. And this is only man that received such a feeling, such a state which makes him stand outside of the Creator, and it appears to him as if he exists on his own and that the Creator doesn't exist at all. And if he does exist, then there's a problem in scrutinizing the relations between us, until a person comes to a state in which he reveals the Creator and begins to reveal the different forms of connections between them, until he sees that the Creator operates and rules him, until he decides that there's none else besides him, which is considered complete dvikut, complete adhesion of in the Creator. This is actually our work that we do. It takes a long time, not even one incarnation, meaning not even one lifetime in this world, but more and more kinds and forms of life. And this is how we advance. Each time we awaken it more and more. I'm not in the illusion that everyone already understands what we're talking about, but nevertheless this concept of faith above reason needs to be a little more and a little more and a little more kind of regular, understood, heard, even like with little children, where we enter into a true natural feeling like children do. They're somewhat in this world, but they don't know where they are. And slowly, slowly, these vessels of reception they have expand more. They notice more things, and they start to respond more to the world. They even start themselves to study the world and put their hands to different things that are happening in the world. And that's how we too, with that quality of faith above reason towards the unknown world that we're in, but we don't have any instruments to be able to feel it. Just like with children that are like babies that are born and begin in such a way to understand and feel more and more and grasp reality. It's just that with us, the work is more difficult, since our perception of the egoistic world is something we were born in that nature. And we just need to develop it, that approach. Whereas towards the spiritual world, we need to develop an approach that is suitable to receiving the spiritual world that we're in, but without acquiring the appropriate senses to receive it. It's like we're not in it. This is, God forbid, like a child that he's missing a sense, and then doesn't know where he is relative to that sense. That's why this approach of faith above reason, which is the five senses, according to the five senses with which we investigate and study the world that we're in, even though it's called the imaginary reality. So those senses that we need to develop towards the true reality, the spiritual world, is all our work. Let's try and be more sensitive to this, but this takes a long time nevertheless, since it's a matter of preparation that we need to do. Hence, this is all of our work with the group, with the environment. Because if there was no need to acquire the vessels, the spiritual vessels, Nishma, in order to bestow faith above reason, then there would be no such preparation. The shattering of the Kli, which we need to try and reconnect, this is all in order to develop vessels of bestowal by ourselves.